Call this meeting to order for the Plain Township trustees. If you could please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Before we get started, I'd like to add to the record that our zoning superintendent, Tom Ferreira, is excused this evening. He is having a health issue. Are there any additions, subtractions, or deletions?
Concerns the trustees.
Anything else from anyone? Seeing none, I'd like to take this time to have Captain Carver speak to us in regards to Captain Springer. We're gonna do a moment of silence first. We lost a previous captain for our Plain Township, and we are going to give him a moment of silence for loss for his family and friends. Thank you, Captain Carver. You could tell us what's going on with his funeral.
So first, on behalf of the Sheriff's Office and Captain Springer's family, just like to thank everyone in the township for their assistance in planning some arrangements for his funeral. One of his requests was to have some participation with Plain Township and some services at Veterans Park. It was very important to him and his family. Plans are right now that he will be calling hours on Friday evening at New Point Church, Broadmoor Circle. And on Saturday morning, there will be calling hours from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. With a brief service at the church at 10 a.m. They will depart from there. There will be a procession to Veterans Park. Targeted arrival at Veterans Park will be 11 a.m. Where there will be a service there with our honor guard and family present, and presentation of the tree there that the township is involved in placing that. So we'll have a service there at the park for the men block.
Thank you. It's the least we can do for all that he's done for the township, and he was beloved by everybody.
Everyone's very grateful for that. So I appreciate the use of the park and the assistance of getting all that arranged. And Mr. Steinberg, all of his help in getting that taken care of as well. Really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we jump, I think it's important. I mean, Ron was actually instrumental, really, in the new structure, the structure that really we operate under now, having true leadership supervision over the staff. So I mean, they were all good growing pains working through the structure, but I'm sure Lisa probably had a lot of the close working from the aspect, even just with Sheriff Meyer in establishing baseline reporting, the level of transparency, accountability. Hey, here's the needs, and so forth. The guy was just absolutely class act. And you know, I know after I pitched the Veterans Park hillside, he and I, you know, we clicked before, but that clicked all the more. And you were remiss if remiss to say that. You know, we're all sad, but to be taken so young is just beyond painstaking. And as it says in Matthew 25:23, well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over a few things. I'll make you a ruler over many things. Enter into the joy of your Lord. And I think that's the only thing that can give us all peace, is knowing that's where he's at.
Very influential and instrumental person in many careers, and helped me immensely, especially coming over into this role that he held for several years, and kind of helped build the framework that we use right now. Very important role
He set the bar, and he set it professionally and personally. So, you know, we're just happy to be able to participate in the whole service. Thank you.
All right, we don't have anything under unfinished business. This takes us over to new business, to our administrator, Lisa Campbell.
Thank you. Item number 1 is a resolution to select John Sable as a member of a legislative authority of Board of Township Trustees within Stark County to serve on the County 911 Program Review Committee.
So moved.
Second. Discussion?
So I'll just be quick with this, but this particular portion of this statute was snuck in the budget bill. And even OTA didn't pick up on it, of how this was going to affect every existing 911 PSAP in every county. So we're really kind of behind the gun just a little bit, because we have to be able to say, yes, here's the plan, and it's got to be in place by April 1st. Now, the interesting thing is there are some people out there, they don't even know about this yet. So, you know, we kind of discovered it, and, you know, we weren't sure of the formality that had to be done by each one of these appointees. That's why originally we thought we could do it at a county meeting, but the statute very clearly says, no, it has to be done by a majority of the townships by resolution. So I'm excited to serve on this. There's some new things coming out. Obviously, I'm going to do whatever I can to keep planting the seed of Central Dispatch, but for now, I think this is going to be a good thing. So that's where it came from.
And Thomas, you can certify that tonight because we need to send it to Tim Worsler tomorrow.
Okay.
That'd be great.
And you'll
Thank
also
you.
be working with Mr. Cozy, it looks like.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so
All right.
we
So.
passed that last night at Hartville.
Oh, okay, so he must be the village / other person.
Yeah.
So it's 6 people, commissioners, mayor of the largest city,
Yep.
or the representative of the largest township, somebody from the township association, that representative, and then an elected official.
Yep.
And I think the sheriff is gonna, serve as the elected official. Anyhow, okay, so it's Mark Cozy?
Yeah.
Okay,
Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 2 is a resolution to forward a petition to vacate a section of Township Road within the unincorporated area of Plain Township, Stark County, to the Board of Stark County Commissioners.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
So the only thing here is that this is the second step in the Honor Homes' ability to be able to connect their 2 buildings together. So if you look at all this, you'll see only, the street isn't actually there, okay? So I just think it's the right thing to do, because they've gone to a lot of work to be able to pull this project off. So I know Chuck doesn't have a problem with it. JP doesn't have a problem with it. So I just think it's a smart thing to do.
And then I will forward the resolution when it's passed to the county commissioners.
Great, thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Abstain?
And that's the end of new business.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell. This takes us over to the sheriff's report. Captain Carver?
Yeah, before you, the January 2024 monthly report, there were 832 calls for service, down 13% from last year. Everything was up on the crash side. We were at 77 crashes and 13 crashes with injury. Alarms were at 57, traffic stops were 132, citations were also 132, 40 arrests, 481 vacation security checks. For the detective's report, there were 5 cases assigned, and then on the closed case side, there were 8 breaking and entering, 1 child endangerment, 1 have your year-to-year comparison charts.
I don't recall when we went down.
There was a nice drop in calls for January. In my mind, I have some questions. We did a large upgrade with our CAD again, and so I question whether some things might have
Reposition themselves.
Yeah.
repositioned in out different places,
Yeah.
because it just seems a little bit odd that
Yeah.
that we saw increases in crashes and drops in calls for service. So we're working through some things on that, but the upgrade did not go 100% smoothly, so kind of digging through that. I'm working through some issues with that company, several things.
Any questions for Captain Carver? All right,
Thank
thank you
you.
very much, I appreciate it. All right, that'll take us over to the fiscal officer's report. Mr. Wolf?
Thank you. Fiscal Officer number 1 is a resolution to authorize payment of pending warrants in the amount of $1,132,851.46.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 2 is a resolution to authorize payment of regular payroll in an amount not to exceed $250,000.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 3 is a resolution to authorize payment for the following medical claims.
So moved.
Second? Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 4 is the investment report.
Any concerns or?
No concerns, still pretty good interest rates.
Excellent.
Actually, those guys from Meter put on a good class down at the OTA.
Yeah,
It's considered.
they've done really well for us.
All right, go ahead with number 5.
Fiscal Officer number 5 is a resolution to authorize the following transfer of funds.
So moved.
Second? Discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 6 is a resolution to authorize the payment in an amount not to exceed $4,466.50 to be taken from 1000-110-500 to reimburse the Canton Municipal Court for Plain Township's proportional share of the operating costs.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 7 is a resolution that to provide for the current expenses and other expenditures of Plain Township Board of Trustees during the fiscal year ending December 31, 2024. The following sums be and the same are hereby set aside and appropriated for the several purposes for which expenditures are to be made for and during said fiscal year as follows.
So moved.
Second? Discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 8 is a resolution to authorize payment for the 2023 real estate tax and special assessment invoice to the Stark County Treasurer for the total amount of $9,395.60 from the following funds.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 9 is a resolution giving notice that the real property located at 4212 34th Street Northeast, Plain Township, Stark County, parcel number 52-00215, has been purchased and will move forward with renovations, so there's no need to demolish the structure.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 10 is a resolution to authorize the release of insurance proceeds being retained for the loss caused by fire on February 13th, 2022 at 3735 Ashford Street Northwest, Canton, Ohio 44708, in the amount of the checks to be made payable to Jerry Markham and mailed to 3735 Ashwood Street Northwest, Canton, Ohio 44708, authorized by Fire Chief Charles Schallenberg.
So moved.
Second, discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 11 is a resolution to amend the payment amount of resolution 24-056 to $9,539 for calendar year 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
And that concludes the fiscal officer report.
Thank you, Tom. Now take us over to the administrator.
Thank you. My one and only item tonight is a resolution for payment to CDW Government for a Panasonic Toughbook for our Sheriff's Division.
So moved.
Second, discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes. All right, thank you, Ms. Campbell. Now take us over to the fire department. Chief?
Thank you. Item number one is our monthly report. Put a picture of the lift and the truck in there just to kind of showcase our mechanics. They do a ton of work for us, and they don't get much praise sometimes, but they do stuff top notch. So we just want to throw that picture in there to kind of show that.
They do. We're very lucky to have them.
Are they handling the spring work on the ladder, or is that's outside?
Unfortunately, they cannot, because they shipped them to us, and they have to take them apart, the spring, re-put them back together, add some stuff off the ladder truck to the spring package and put them back on the truck, so we had to take it outside. They tried to do it, we were trying to do it in-house, but it did not work out, so.
All right. Any other questions? Please see Chief after. Go ahead with number 2.
Item number 2 is a resolution by Plain Township Board of Trustees for purchase and payment for one remount of a Lifeline ambulance to Penn Care to be completed by First Priority Group, and the chassis to be provided by Plain Township Fire Department.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
And item number 3 is a resolution by Plain Township Board of Trustees to extend the offer of employment to Donald Brucia as a part-time paramedic pending his successful completion of a township medical exam and background check.
So moved.
Second, discussion, roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Item number 4 is a resolution by Plain Township Board of Trustees for purchase and payment for bench testing of our air packs, Genesis equipment, and repairs and parts if necessary to Howell Rescue.
So moved.
Second, discussion, roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Item number 5 is a resolution by Plain Township Board of Trustees to enter into an enclosed contract with Suma Medical Center for a paramedic ride-along program for our paramedic student, Danielle Warman.
So moved.
Second, discussion, roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
And fire department.
Thank you, Chief. Now take us over to the road department. Mr. Neff?
Thank you. Road item number 1 is the monthly report. Kind of picture of the GAPEX here doing some work at 5050 Groves. And real quick too, I just put a winter update there as of February 1st. I know we invested some money in our liquid upgrade, and I think it's paying off. So you see the year to date, we've had 17 events versus 15 last year. We're about 150 ton less last year, so compared to last year. So about 4,000 gallons more of liquid. So we are capable of mixing our own. So I think it's going to pay off long term. So.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Neff? Please see him after. Go ahead with number 2.
Thank you. Item number 2 is a resolution to authorize Plain Township to join the Community University Education Purchasing Council of Governments for the purchase of road salt, fuel, vehicles, and other goods.
So moved.
Second, discussion,
Smart move.
Yeah.
Yeah, very,
It's just a good business move.
100%. Yep.
Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thank you. Road item number 3 is a resolution to approve the negotiated contract between Plain Township Board of Trustees and the Utility Workers Union of America, Local 561.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thank you. Road item number 4 is a resolution to authorize purchase and payment to Jack Delhaney Company for a new radiator on the Pelican sweeper.
So moved.
Second. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thank you. Road item number 5 is a resolution to authorize a blanket purchase order for various vendors in the amount of $50,000 for the purchase of operating supplies.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thank you, and that concludes road.
Thank you. And now take us over to the zoning department, Ms. Campbell.
Thank you. Item number 1 is the zoning monthly report, and you'll notice we're starting off the year in a nice positive number compared to January of last year. And any questions, just reach out to Tom when he's back. And then item number 2 is a resolution to abate property located at 2430 41st Street.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 3 is a resolution to appoint Douglas Saltz to the Board of Zoning Commission as an alternate.
I will so move.
Second.
Discussion?
I think he was really the only qualified candidate out of the applications, and it is, I mean, to point out, he does have prior zoning experience in another community, so hopefully that'll be a nice add.
That was a nice resume.
Yeah.
Roll call.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Thank you. That's the end of the zoning department.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell. That'll take us over to Rob Steinberg with the Parks Department.
Thanks. Item number 1 is the monthly report.
Okay? Thank you.
Thanks. Item number 2 is a resolution to adopt the attached wristband sponsorship package for amphitheater programming.
So moved.
Second. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 3 is a resolution to enter into an agreement to utilize Arbor Pay for independent contractors with the attached fees.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thanks. Item number 4 is a resolution to hire Costas Paxis as a soccer supervisor concessions worker.
So moved.
Second. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thanks. Item number 5 is just a discussion item. I know I had spoken with Lisa and JP about this previously, and the idea would be for the amphitheater this coming season, with a full season, to add additional spaces between the restroom and Easton Street. A couple different options. I know that was discussed. We could get a quote for in-house paving. We could leave it grass and stripe it, much like we do the auxiliary lot. It would, and I'm gonna lean on Mr. Neff here for an approximation, but I think it would lead us to roughly 30 to 40 extra spaces that would allow us to accommodate parking this coming season.
John, you may remember we talked about this in some of our construction meetings.
So I just wanted to bring it up for discussion, and look at options and stuff, just so that we can continue to utilize space as it comes
On this side.
available.
Yeah.
Those, what do you call those, bollards or?
Yeah,
we
stop
move it-
blocks.
Stop
So
blocks.
shift and run.
Yeah.
Yeah, where the charging stations say.
From
right,
there
going for-
up to-
Mhm. And then they
But
could go
out
on
of
that
the, out of
level.
the utility easement.
Correct.
from-
Yes.
all right.
Correct.
Yeah. And then we'll just, I mean, obviously, like we did everything else, we'll walk it, we'll bounce a bunch of ideas back and forth and come up with the best. Because we're not gonna hurt the grass.
No.
For what little we're gonna be on it, we're not gonna hurt the grass.
Yeah.
So it's
It
no
is-
different than
it's
them parking
soft
down there.
As,
Yeah.
you know, me and Chuck's kind of walked it raw, but, you know, I kind of said shy away from paving, you know, just for the runoff aspect of it.
Yeah.
Maybe do a nice limestone or something, but we can look at all those
Yeah.
options and
Yep.
kind of just, you know, have a meeting of the minds.
All right, so we'll pursue that.
Item number 6 is a resolution to utilize Team Sideline for online soccer registration for indoor, outdoor soccer with the attached fees.
So moved.
Second, discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Keeping in that vein, item number 7 is a resolution to utilize ActiveNet for online shelter community room reservations with the attached fees.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
And 8 is a resolution to utilize Eventbrite for sales for tickets for the amphitheater events with the attached fee structure.
So moved.
Second, discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
That concludes parks.
Thank you, Mr. Steinberg. We have nothing over for the law director. That'll take us to communications, and we have communication that was given to us by the Stark County Commissioners in regards to Senate Bill 52. This letter addresses the establishment of economically significant wind farms, large wind farms and solar facilities in Ohio and Stark County. The commissioners are seeking our feedback on this stance regarding the energy projects. They have provided a resolution for adoption that opposes large wind or solar facilities. The resolution also outlines the township's decision to either prohibit the construction of the wind farms within the boundaries. If our township intends to request a restricted area of designation, the deadline needs to be submitted and adopted by April 30th. The commissioners suggest that we have the option to have a public hearing to gather input before adopting the resolution. They have further details and additional resources that can be found on the OTA websites. Is there any discussion in regards to this?
Just trying to think how we can discuss without making a motion.
Yes.
Well, can make,
What do you mean?
well, because it has 3 options. It has
Yeah.
3 options.
Oh, this isn't a resolution.
Yeah,
No.
none
This
of
is
our
their form
resolutions are
resolution.
tonight. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
This
feel
is
free to
just a
have open
discussion.
discussion about it.
Okay, so I guess I'll start. I did attend this class at the OTA. Some really interesting things that came out of it. And first of all, I want to thank the commissioners for reaching out and taking this proactive stance on reaching out to us, because there was a lot of discussion about, and again, I'm sitting in a class where people were saying, I didn't know anything about that. So, and again, I appreciate the commissioners reached out to us and everyone on this, because Wayne County has actually already done it. There was a big facility in Wayne County that was already approached. And when the commissioners got wind of it, they kind of did the same thing here. They reached out to all their communities and said, how do you guys feel? And to the last person, they all said, we don't want it. And those commissioners restricted the entire county. There's a lot of negatives and some uncertainties about these sites, because there have been places where they come in, they build them, they weren't profitable, they abandoned them, and there all that equipment stood with grass and weeds growing up and just,
And the visual impact of that, I mean, and the
It's
property
a modern-
values.
Exactly.
It's a modern day
Yeah.
gas station,
Exactly.
like the Starfire gas stations. that
So-
just make their money or not and just walk away.
Having
And we'll stuff like that.
done some discussions with some other people after that class, at least for me, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna move towards us recommending that Plain Township be a prohibition area for wind and solar.
I agree,
I
there's
think
more negatives than I found than there are benefits.
I think furthermore, just to build upon this, if you take a look at our township, I mean, our prohibition is not, even if there was somebody sitting in the crowd tonight that said they want a large wind or solar. Sorry, I'm just.
No, he's actually here for that.
I'm
So,
actually here.
Here for the same
Oh,
stuff,
good.
that's why I'm pointing
Oh,
to
maybe-
him, that's why
so
we're
large-
looking at each
so the whole-
other.
so the whole
I'm
large-
actually here for my family's farm in Washington Township.
So, Well, I'll talk and then we can let you intercede on this. But, I mean, on the large wind and solar, when you take a look at what's left of Plain Township, again, we've had some good experiences in the amount of home build out that we have, but there is almost next to nothing for significant tracts of land left in the township that are developable. And those that would essentially be plopped right in the middle of a residential development on one or multiple sides, or it's essentially the floodplain down here that is in Stark Parks, right? So, I mean, outside of the other reasons that you guys have already mentioned, the reality is somebody would have to come in and do a clean slate of swaths of Plain Township to facilitate this.
It's not worth it.
And I'm with John, and I'm assuming we're here. I can't see this being of benefit specifically in Plain Township, and I know if I even went out to my old hometown of Paris Township, I sure as heck wouldn't want this on my grandmother's farm that my uncle has now, so.
Okay, well, if we are all in the same,
Do you want to let, even though it's not technically public
No.
speaks yet, just let him on, since he's here on this topic?
Yep, that's why it's here. It's the next topic is, just state your name and your address for our records, please.
My name's Andy Gatz. I live at 6100 Wicklow Street. So my family's farm is out on 153 in Washington Township. I went to their meeting last week, or 2 weeks ago. Everybody's against solar panels. We're doing a petition to stop it and get as many signatures through Stark County as possible. I'm here because you guys are the largest township in Stark County. I'm trying to get your guys' signatures on this petition to stop it. Because it's out of our hands. All we can do is say, no, we don't want it. I mean, the township, their trustees do not want it. So we're getting as many signatures through Stark County as possible.
I think here's just one thing, but we can sign it individually as residents. I don't think, Eric, you keep me on the honest here. We can sign this after the meeting if we want to, clearly.
Right. If you guys want to, I'm
But
just
it's
here
not like we've got a
to,
resolution
you guys are
afterwards.
staff
So,
pillars in the community in Stark County, and I just thought it was important to come to you guys and, we
Sure.
can only do so much.
Yeah,
And they want 800 acres there.
yeah, the power is gonna be what the
They want
commissioners.
800 acres and it's Samsung that's coming in.
Yeah, the power, have you gone to the county commissioners yet?
No, I have not.
Okay,
So
so
my
that's-
aunt's
that-
been involved, I'm just now
Yeah.
getting involved with it.
The law, the law here does give the county commissioners the statutory choice to prohibit in total or prohibit,
In section.
in sections.
Like you guys just discussed.
Absolutely.
Okay, I was taking notes while you guys
Yeah.
were discussing that because I'm gonna
And
look
they could
into.
do, like I say, in part of your argument, I'm 100% sure that Wayne County commissioners,
Well, right now they're going, Kensington is fighting it too,
yeah,
so.
well, and there's
And
gonna
they're
be
waiting for that
pushback.
Senate bill to go
Yeah,
through
there's
to
definitely gonna be
figure out
pushback.
what they wanna
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
I think here's the important piece to note too, John, outside of your compliment to the commissioners for reaching out to us. This is a theme that we see at the OTA on different things. There's stuff that typically gets thrown over into the commissioner's lap, like, hey, you guys are responsible for this. And it's one of those like, we really don't want this. So, I'm certainly not gonna speak for any of the commissioners on whether favorable or
I just wanna
unfavorable.
bring it to you
But from
guys
a
and-
general theme, when this stuff's lobbed over, it's like, wait a minute, what? So this is being put back on us.
Right.
Most of those things are not looked at.
Yeah, because that's
In
the
the most
first I heard of
desirable.
it in Plain Township, is when you said something to me, and I'm like, I'm texting my aunt, I'm like, oh crap, they're trying to bring it in here, and then I heard your guys' discussions, I'm like, okay, we're all on the same page here.
Yes.
Because it's just the homework that I've done, my aunt's done, all the people that's against this, it messes up your tributaries, your waterways, and if there's anything chemical coming off those panels that break, it's gonna be an infomercial. Hey, if you had these solar panels on your property 30 years ago,
Aaron Brockovich.
call this number and you
That's what I'm
get this.
thinking, Aaron Brockovich.
Can you
Right.
slide him into the county township association? meeting, just from a quick
resolution.
chat? I mean, not that it has to be a formal, but, I mean, if nothing else, you got there's 17 townships in Stark County.
Right,
And
and
they're
that's
likely
what I'm
so.
trying to get all your, like.
After the meeting, talk to me, there's a
Yeah.
meeting that you might be interested in going to on
Okay.
Thursday night, and there's gonna be about 60 people, and it's gonna represent all the townships in Stark
Okay,
County.
I
And they're all the
appreciate all the help
trustees
that we can get
and fiscal officers
because
and so forth.
right now with 800 acres that they want, and it's like, if they start it and they get the approval, it's only a matter of time before they start
Yeah.
knocking off farms. You know, they can throw money out there because there's a farmer in front of us, because we have a half-mile lane back to our farm. And we have a farmer in front of us, he's like, it was his dad's. He's like, well, I can retire. And it's like, yeah, but what about my grandfather that's 91 years old, moved here from Iowa and started his own farm, and we have 150 acres, and now he's gotta look out his front window on his last couple of years and look at solar panels? And it's just like, come on, it's gonna ruin the landscape everywhere.
I'll talk to you afterwards.
All right,
and
thank you
I
very much.
appreciate you
Thank
taking
you
the
very
time to
much.
talk to us.
And you guys, you have the option, obviously, if you wanna make a motion on this one tonight, or if you want me to take this one and prepare it for next meeting, you can do it any way you want.
But they're wanting it in this.
This format.
They want it in this
Yes.
format, yeah,
That's
no
what they
doubt.
sent us,
So here, but here's the thing, as I read through this, I mean, and I'm in agreement with how John said it, any winter solar, but when you look at these, they're ors.
It's for
And
all
none of them
I
are all,
noticed that too.
are not all encompassing, so economically significant wind farm. Prohibit the construction of any large wind farm. Prohibit the construction of any large solar.
You would check each.
You check each one,
Okay.
it's
You want each
to
of those.
designate
But does that
all or
mean-
part.
They can try to put, put in there a small wind farm, because it said large.
Well, we did our other legislation through zoning on
Yeah.
the smaller ones.
That's true.
Okay, well then, you know what, if we're gonna use the same exact
We
language.
just need, Tom, if you would fill in the missing blanks, the Board of Plain Township Trustees, the date, and then I think there's a fiscal
Well,
officer
may-
certification.
I'm gonna, Tom, I'll go through slowly, but outside, I will make a motion that the Board of Plain Township Trustees that met in regular session on February 13th of 2024, be it resolved by the Plain Township Trustees of Plain Township, Stark County, Ohio, on February 13th, 2024, all the whereas statements, be it resolved after deliberations, the Board of Trustees of Plain Township, Stark County, Ohio, does hereby find that it is in the best interest of Plain Township to request the Stark County Board of Commissioners, one, prohibit the construction of any economically significant wind farm, two, prohibit the construction of any large wind farm, and three, prohibit the construction of any large solar facility.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
And then as a point of order, make sure that you all sign this resolution tonight, because we don't have it in your packet to sign. Tom will give it to you, and then I'll forward it to the commissioners tomorrow.
Excellent, thank you. All right, that'll take us over to public speaks. We already spoke to you, and I know that we have a student from Central Catholic sitting in for government. So I had spoke with her prior to the meeting, and I told her afterwards if she had any questions, comments, or concerns, she's welcome to come and ask us, and we'll, by all means, sign your paperwork. Is there any concerns of the trustees?
Just the update, it was really, the opioid symposium, Stark County Court of Common Pleas Judge, the Honorable Frank Forshone, had sent out a letter on an opioid symposium, talk to your family before opiates due. Thursday, February 22nd, 2024, 6 to 8 p.m. at the Malone University Johnson Center. It's a free event. It's put on by the Stop Heroin from Killing Committee, which Judge Forshone has been the chairman of, I think, since its inception.
Yes.
Pretty much, but at this, there's a significant amount of vital information regarding the addiction, treatment options, and road to recovery, pardon me, details. So, let's make sure we post it out, communicate.
Can we
so
have,
forth.
we didn't get a cut, can I
Yeah.
have your flyer and we can put on Facebook and?
Yeah, you can have the
And the
letter
letter
too,
too.
because there's just
Okay.
there's some good stats, but, you know, sadly, the number of overdose deaths in Stark County rose 11% in 2022. As a result, we lost 159 members of our community due to the deplorable opiate epidemic, leaving many families heartbroken. Although overdose deaths in Ohio decreased 5% last year, they still remained at a staggering number, 4,915 lives, which follows the state record of 5,174 deaths a year before. Illicit fentanyl appears to be biggest foe, since it is responsible for 81% of the unintentional drug overdoses. It's now being mixed with heroin, methamphetamines, and even cocaine before being offered for sale, and as a result, many users have no idea fentanyl has been laced with the drug of their choice and die
No, you can
instantly.
find it in weed, the
What's
fentanyls
that?
in weed
Yeah.
now.
Marijuana now,
Even, I've heard some of the vape.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No.
It's everywhere. All right, well, any other concerns for trustees? Seeing none, that takes us over to the concerns of fiscal officer. Are there any?
No concerns.
Okay. We will need the resolution to approve the minutes of January 23rd. I'll make the motion.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes. All right, we do have a need for executive session, hereby resolved by the Plain Township Board of Trustees, Stark County, Ohio, to adjourn to executive session at 6:41 PM from this regular meeting of Plain Township, as authorized under Ohio Revised Code 121-22G for the purpose of the consideration of 1F, the compensation of public employee or official.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
And that will